Hello, you absolute legends. On the 2nd of December 2017, I achieved the greatest world record in my speedrunning career. I beat the first level of GoldenEye on the easiest difficulty Agent in 52 seconds. This feat took hundreds of hours to achieve, and when it happened it was a really big deal. It was even covered by mainstream news outlets, which is pretty rare for speedrunning. The run was beautiful, and to this day I'm still shocked that it actually happened. Damn 52 remained unmatched for over 4 years, until Carl Magnus Wall would achieve 52 in 2022.
Dude! What? No fucking way, dude!
Once again, it took him hundreds of hours to achieve, and you can tell by our reactions how special this time was. In February 2024, Joachim Jung became the third person to achieve 52, a time that he claims took him 400 hours. Damn 52 on the Agent difficulty is one of the most prestigious world records in GoldenEye history. Not necessarily because it's the most difficult, but because of how long you need to grind to actually get it. Of course, you do need to play well, but you also need to be very, very lucky. If you wanted to get Damn 52, you basically needed to accept the fact you'll probably be playing for hundreds of hours before you actually get it. 52 seconds was maxed. It was considered by everyone to be the fastest anyone would ever go. With how simple the level was, with how much effort we put into optimizing it, and with how perfect a run you needed to perform in order to even have a chance at 52, surely 51 seconds would never, ever happen. And then in December of 2024, everything changed. A new discovery shook the entire community to its core. To everyone's shock, a huge time save was found that turned 52 from one of the most grueling world records in the game's history to one of the easiest. In a span of just 72 hours, 8 more people achieved a 52. And now people are asking, is Damn 51 possible? In today's video, we will take a quick look at this crazy new discovery, and I will give you my thoughts on whether or not I think Damn 51 will ever happen. I really hope you enjoy. Legends, I cannot believe we are coming to the end of another year. Honestly, for me, this has probably been the most stressful year of my entire life, which is why it's so important that I keep looking after myself. And one of the ways I do that is by using today's partner, Geology. Geology is a 36-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company. Their products are super high quality, so the people around you that need to look at your skin up close or smell you are going to love you for using them. Personally, my skin is super oily, so I need to use Geology's everyday face wash or my face looks and feels gross. I also use their nourishing eye cream because I have massive black eyes from not getting enough sleep. Plus, they have a whole range of products including body washes, deodorants, and hair shampoos and conditioners. Seriously, their products, especially their deodorants, just smell incredible. There is a good reason Geology has over 10,000 5-star reviews. Just take their 60-second quiz and Geology will send a personalized routine right to your door. And right now, Geology is offering an incredible 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to try Geology and start looking your very best today. The critical feature of Damn are the large double gates the player reaches about halfway through the run. Everything else is extremely simple, and there really isn't much time to save. It's mostly pure strafing, and it's not like we can just run faster if we wanted to. Historically, everything has centered around these double gates and how fast they open. Since the dawn of time, players knew that if they ran as fast as they could to the double gates, they will open just after you get there. Players also knew that if they hit the button that controls the gate, it will open slightly faster. The gate is actually opened by a guard who begins his journey towards and through the gates after he is loaded into the level. He has to walk to the first gate, open it, wait for it to open, then walk to the next gate. When he reaches the second gate, he has to start closing the first gate before he can open it. When we hit the button, we start closing the first gate ourselves, and therefore the guard can skip that step and go straight to opening the second gate. And this is why hitting the button always resulted in a a faster gate. The behavior of the guard through the gates is pretty technical, and there is some luck involved, but the main breakthroughs that have occurred didn't have much to do with the gate itself, but rather how fast we can get the guard to load into the level and start his journey. If the guard loads in earlier, he can start moving earlier, and therefore open the gates earlier. And he always starts his journey from the exact same position, so when we load him in is critical. For most of the level's history, we didn't really think about trying to load the guard early. We just strafed through the level in the early section, trying to have as tight a line as possible to the gate. And the guard loaded approximately when we reached this corner, because that's when the gate enters our field of vision. However, in 2016, our understanding of the gate guard started to develop. In August 2016, the player Typosaur realized that when you go around the guard in the tunnel, instead of hugging the wall before the corner where the guard loads, the gate opens around a tenth or two faster, which in hindsight is a huge discovery. But at the time, even Typosaur thought nothing of it, and suggested that ultimately it's of no use because if you take a wider line, you take longer to reach the gate, so it should cancel out the time save. But this really wasn't the case. People were certainly reaching the gate early enough to take advantage of a quicker guard. However, May of 2017 is when this idea of loading the guard earlier really broke through, when the player Ogren discovered that if you look up slightly as you reach the corner and take a wider line, the guard loads earlier. Ogren came in with concrete figures, saying exactly how many frames you could save, and it was substantial. This loaded the guard earlier because objects can be loaded from further away if they are in Bond's peripheral vision. In other words, in the sides or corners of the screen. This was when I started playing Damn Agent, because Ogren's discovery made a run of 52 seconds now just barely possible. And using his technique, I managed to get a run of 52 seconds in December of 2017. And here is what's interesting. Even before I got 52, we knew how to load the guard even earlier, but we just didn't do it. In my original run of 52 seconds, I looked up and took a wide turn, but that's all. Technically, I could have loaded the guard even earlier if I looked up, took a wide turn, and turned left outward slightly to really put the gate closer to the corner of the screen. However, I couldn't make use of this earlier load because it took too much time to execute. You ended up taking such a wide turn that by the time you got to the button, the guard was already closing the first gate himself. This ended up being slower, because the guard would then have to wait at least 10 frames before performing his next step of opening the second gate. It just wasn't faster overall. So because we couldn't make use of this earlier load, the hunt for even quicker loading positions seemed pointless. And there didn't seem to be any way to load the guard quicker without losing a substantial amount of time going out of position. I think this is why the hunt for the most optimal position to load the guard ended prematurely. And for the next 7 years, people did the early guard load the exact same way. But in late 2024, one GoldenEye scientist blew the level wide open and changed everything. In October 2024, the Tasser Onslaught uploaded a video where Bond triggered the Xenia encounter on the jungle stage from an insane distance away. Normally this fight gets triggered after you cross a bridge, but Onslaught triggered it from way back in the level. He achieved this by playing around with the display settings, specifically choosing cinema instead of full screen, which makes Bond's field of vision much wider. This realization that cinema enables you to load things from further away was the first important step. Historically, almost everyone played Damn Agent on full screen. All of the 3 original 52s played on full screen, because with the guard loading technique we were using, full screen gave us consistently faster gates. However, as I said before, we weren't really pushing the boundaries with our technique. Full screen probably does load the guard faster unless you really put the gate at the very corner of the screen, at which point using widescreen or cinema would enable you to load him a bit earlier. But like I said before, this would force you to turn so wide that you would be too slow reaching the button. But there was one crucial idea that everyone missed. What if you loaded the guard so early that it was still quicker even if you let the guard close the door himself? At the time, this really didn't seem possible, because the most we could do was load the guard just a few frames earlier by turning outwards a bit more. In order for this to work, you would need to load the guard at least a half a second earlier, which appeared impossible. However, Onslaught still wanted to find out exactly how far away you could load the guard. And in order to do this, he created a script that would give him a visual representation of when the room the guard was in was loaded. And to give himself the biggest FOV possible, he also changed the aspect ratio to 16:9 in conjunction with cinema, which are settings no one in speedrunning uses because it just looks terrible. Using these weird settings and his script, Onslaught discovered that you could load the guard from a position in the tunnel that doesn't make any logical sense. And it's a place that speedrunners intuitively never visit because it's so far out of the way. Near the wall on the left and a bit further back, if you look at a specific angle, the guard can be loaded much sooner. In order to help find the most optimal position and a looking angle, Onslaught programmed a bot that played the level 1.5 million times, testing every different combination, and then using that data was able to show which area of the tunnel the guard could be loaded from, and how precise your looking angle needed to be. Ultimately, with these screen settings and running straight to this position in the tunnel, it is possible to load the guard almost a full second faster than before. But that doesn't mean you save a full second. This position is so far out of the way that you simply lose too much time getting back to the gate. Now, instead of you pressing the gate button to skip the step for the guard, we have to wait for him to both shut the first gate and then open the second gate. This loses exactly 10 frames, which for example at 20 frames per second would be half a second. So even though we load the guard almost a second faster, we lose almost half a second because we reach the gate too slow. In fact, now players just barely reach the gate as it opens, even ignoring the button completely. Of course, there is a lot of nuance to this new strategy, and players are still refining it, but it's definitely a lot faster and has already made a huge impact. Even without practicing enough to perfect their movement, players are saving around half a second over the old strategy, which has now made 52 seconds really easy to achieve. Previously, we needed at least 2 boosts. Now, players have already done it with no boosts at all. This removes most of the luck that was previously involved. And not only is this new strategy faster, but it's also much easier. Executing a perfect button press and getting through the gates cleanly was a bit tricky, and it was easy to lose time. Now, players don't have to worry about pressing the button at all. They can just run straight through. So with 52 being so easy, is Dam 51 now possible? Sadly, I don't think it is. This new strategy saves at best around half a second, which is certainly not enough to shave an entire second from the record. 52 was barely possible before, even when everything went right. At best, using all of the theoretical best splits that I've seen, only a very low 52 could be achieved. But don't give up hope. Before this new strategy was found, I really thought Dam Agent was completely solved. I assumed there was nothing else to find, and suddenly out of nowhere, a new discovery has led to a half a second time save. This is gigantic. It's literally the biggest time save that's ever been found on this level and difficulty in the game's history. This is truly shocking. So I wouldn't rule out 51 seconds just yet. It may not be possible using these strategies we've already found, but maybe, just maybe, there are still even more secrets hidden in this simple and iconic level. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.